Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we fuse a guest to this episode to make it more powerful. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I'm joined, as I'm always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. Mark, how's it going?
It's going great. Super excited for this episode. Super excited that we have an amazing guest.
Oh. Yes, we are joined today by one of the hosts of Get Played. Matt Apodaca is here.
Hello, hi, guys. Let me tell you something. I'm really having fun.
Yeah, we're having a good time.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for doing this.
I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm excited to talk to this game. I'm excited to talk to you guys. Look, I'm just going to pull back the curtain a second.
Yeah.
We had a fun chat right before.
We did.
Oh, yeah.
We covered it all. We solved all the world's problems.
We may have caused a couple, too.
Hey, but the old problems are gone.
Old problems are gone.
New problems in.
We're all about new problems.
That's not our problem.
No, we're going to be discussing in great detail everything that we can remember about The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. This is our spoiler discussion.
Yeah, so this is your blanket spoiler warning.
Now, is that how we want it? We didn't talk about this ahead of time. Is that how we want to deal with it? Is just say, like, from the jump, spoilers ahoy?
I think so.
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, we didn't. I have no say. This is not my show.
You have say.
You have a vote.
I say
Matt, maybe
spoilers
maybe
for the last minute only.
All right, you don't
Talk
no longer
around
have a say.
everything else. Here's what I think.
Pig Latin for the spoilers. What do you
That's
say?
right.
There we go. There we go. It's not
Oilers
crackable.
say.
Yeah.
No, but we normally, when we do like a ranking or something like that, we make a pact that we will remain friends after the ranking, no matter what happens.
Okay, yeah.
And I think
I didn't realize that was that was at play or a risk that I might.
it is
I might
every
lose
time.
you guys.
sorry. Yeah,
every time you're
yeah.
ranking something, you
Okay.
could be alienating the people you're ranking something with.
Okay, that's fine.
But I think because look, we've all played through, we've all beaten Ganondorf.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there are other things that happen in the game that could be spoiled for us if we haven't actually seen
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
see.
Uh-huh.
So if we spoil something for each other, we have to promise to remain friends afterwards.
All right.
I'm gonna base this
Matt, I
on the
need you to
level of
promise.
the spoiler, because I can't promise that
All
I
right.
won't flip this table. No,
No.
of course, no. There's like so much of it. Also, like I'll go ahead and just say this real quick.
Yeah.
I play a lot of games with a guide nearby. Like
Yes.
not like I need like to see what's gonna happen next, but like for example, if I'm playing a scary game, I sort of do need to know what's coming next. I
Yes.
don't want to be too scared.
Because it's too scary.
Too scary.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a baby, but yeah. You know, I get scared. But you know, if you're a baby, that's fine. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry to all the babies listening. You don't have a choice. You'll grow out of it. but like in a game like this, where there's so much to do in like maybe some more obtuse directions,
Yes.
sometimes I need to be like, what's going on? Like, I need to know what just the next thing to do, so that I can set forth and then put the guide away and then have fun there until I'm like, okay, well, I did like 13 more hours of stuff. What do I do now?
Yeah.
And then get back in there. So no spoilers for me. I don't care.
Yeah, and I also don't. I don't care. Like, any,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think,
totally.
I think I know
At this
everything
point.
the game
I
has.
saw the story.
Yes.
Side stuff.
right. I also think, or at least my experience with Breath of the Wild, and also I guess Tears of the Kingdom, was part of the fun of it was talking to other people and having them be like,
Yes.
"Oh, this happened to me," and me having no idea that I could even do that or that existed.
Well-
and that's like, and it's like, oh, now I got to go like figure out where that is or how I experience that.
And because of how open this game is, the way that I chose to do things, I had way more information than I needed too early.
Oh,
Like,
uh-huh.
I don't know if this is diagnosable, but I cannot see part of the map uncleared.
Oh,
So
okay.
I need to go. So I was going all over. I did all the towers. Like that was sort of like my first thing that I did was like I
Yes.
did all the towers, and then I was like, well, while I'm doing these towers, while I'm in the air, I'm getting these dragon tears. So, but the dragon tears are story heavy,
Right.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
so I
yeah.
did all those before I had most of the story. So I had a lot of information. So my link was like,
oh, got it.
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
Like where's the princess? Where's the princess?
Link's like,
Link sort of knows what's
Link's
going
like,
on.
I know.
Yeah, I'm just not saying anything.
We got excited. We
Yes.
started talking about the game itself.
Yes.
Just a little housekeeping
Oh
up top.
yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
That's right. That's right.
If you would like to support us, we do have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society. If you support us at the 8-bit or 16-bit levels, you get access to our monthly miniseries. We just finished NCS Detective Club, where we were watching the great detective shows on television. We are currently in NCS Goes Broadway, where we are talking about musical theater. We talked about Chicago last month. This month, we are talking about the last 5 years. That episode will come out this weekend. So yeah, we're having a lot of fun there. If you want to check any of that out, you know where to find it.
Yes, and thank you so much to all of our patrons. We appreciate it so much. Thank you to new patron, Big Baby Craig. Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you, Big Baby Craig. And then join our Discord if you want to hang out with some people who are talking about Nintendo stuff all the time. A lot of good discussion around our most recent episode about what the next generation of Switch might have to launch with. Email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com, and we will send you an invitation. And then you can join us in chat. Chalk? Chat.
Got stuff to say about chalk. Hit them up. They got
Yeah. We're always talking about chalk in there.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. Let's actually talk about what happens in The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Where do you want to start?
Oh man, I don't know.
Let's. So I did request that everyone bring numbers.
Okay.
So just so we
let's start with the facts.
We want to start with the cold hard facts. So just to get a handle on how much time, how much we all put into this game, we have a couple of stats. So first, just hours played.
I'm at 85 or more. So somewhere, I guess, between 85 and 90.
I'm at 135 hours or more.
Okay, then I'm gonna be, I guess, the mama bear and have it be just right. 95 hours.
95 hours or more. Okay.
I don't want to get too far away from this.
Yeah.
Miss me with that and or more. Just tell me how much.
Yeah. Also,
it is like why?
Yeah. Also miss me with the started 5 days ago.
Yeah. Yes. That's not information.
No.
Played for a little while. How long?
It's no good.
I want minutes. You know they got the minutes.
Or it could go in the opposite direction and be like totally editorializing and be like played for 25 hours too long. Right? Like, that would be okay.
Do you think, because for whatever reason, I assume that they've done that out of like Nintendo niceness, where they are like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like, we're making this unbullyable, right?
Yeah.
You can't like.
Is played for 135 hours or more less mean than played for 137 hours and 56 minutes?
Huh.
No.
It feels the same to me.
I often forget about the Nintendo niceness because like they were the first game I remember seeing that's being like, hey, you've been playing this for a long time. Put it down.
Yeah.
Go outside.
With like Wii Sports or
yeah,
whatever.
Or like
yeah.
I remember it was specifically on because I didn't grow up with Nintendo. I was like a Game Boy kind of only kid, and like that was only like Pokemon kind of. But then DS came around, and 3DS I was probably more specifically like getting like Nintendo first party stuff. And the game that told me that was Donkey Kong Country Returns, and I was like, can they do that?
the DS did it. Or the 3DS did it a lot. Like, because I remember that's how I played No, what's the name of it? Is it Link Between Worlds?
Yeah.
That every time it would tell me, like, hey, you've been playing for a little while, you should take a break. I'd be like, all right. And then stop.
Oh, you would do
it?
it?
So you're a good student.
Every time, yeah. And I don't normally do that, but just for that one game.
I can't remember how the 3DS presented it, but I just remember on the Wii, it had this image of like a Wiimote sitting on a table and an open window with like the breeze coming through, and so the curtains
like
are
the
like
beginning of The Last of Us.
Yeah, and
that feels more like a console sort of like thing because they have like the like we'll put a little animation of the thing going down. Like on the 3DS, it's like just close it.
We don't got time for the
just close it.
Just close it.
All right, so I'm the Papa Bear then, right?
Yes.
So now that means I'm driving the ship, which means let's do shrines. How many shrines did we all complete?
Okay, and just so I'm clear, because we're all probably looking at the same thing.
Yeah.
it's like however many of those what the
Yeah,
energy lights are,
there's like the orbs, yeah,
shrines, light roots,
Mhm.
Koroks, and then
rupees.
Rupees, but we're not talking
Yeah,
rupees.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gauche. We're not going to speak about how much money
No,
we have.
no, it's rude, frankly. I did 115 shrines.
Okay.
I have 113.
You guys did more shrines than me.
How many did you do?
91.
90. Yeah.
That's
That's
still
about
a ton though.
That's about where I was too
Yeah.
until I was like, oh, I'm gonna go shrine hunting. And in Breath of the Wild, I got
Yeah.
all the shrines, but then
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
But there are, like, I was like, for a brief moment, I was like, I'm gonna do this in Tears of the Kingdom, and maybe I eventually will end up going back and doing that. But then I was like, oh, that's like 40 more shrines than I have right now, and
Yeah.
I am not gonna do that.
Yeah, and I like completed every shrine that I saw on my map. There's probably
Yes.
like 2 shrines that I didn't complete because I was like, these are hard.
Yeah.
These ones are hurting me. They're like, I don't feel
Which
good.
ones were you finding like with just like regular puzzle stuff, or one of the like they strip you of your equipment?
I feel like those ones were the ones that I was like, because like the puzzles, give me all those you got.
Yeah.
I'll find a way. Like
You'll
I
brute
like
force your way
yeah,
through them.
yeah. Whatever you want me to do, I ain't doing it. I'm gonna figure I'll figure something out. But like the ones where you have nothing and then it's like more maybe stealth or combat focused,
Yeah.
I'm like, I that's not why I play this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Patrick and I have talked previously about how like we do play these games, and I don't play. I am not combat focused
No.
at all, and so like I don't like block with my shield or like parry or anything like and do like flurry rushes. Like I don't even it doesn't even cross my mind to do that.
No, I'm sort of the same way. I'm just sort of like hitting X or whatever and attacking and being like, that's kind of it for me. Or I have all my guys, the spirits that you have, spoiler,
Oiler spay.
but like they're helping me.
Right.
But I also, I mean, don't even get me started. I wish there was like a better way to do that.
Oh my gosh, 100%.
Because you always end up getting the water guy, and I'm like, I don't never need him.
I don't need that. And also like Tulin, if you can tell I'm trying to pick something up, like chill
get
out,
away
my man.
from me. Yeah.
Stop
Yeah.
blasting arrow.
And I know that there is a way to like you can make
can
them go
dismiss them,
away,
yeah.
but I wish there was a way that they were like. I honestly wish that it was button inputs. That
Yes.
like they didn't have to be around, and I could just like press. Maybe they didn't like LR and then or like
I
like
agree.
L whatever
Yeah.
and then press B and that would initiate them or something like that.
Yeah.
well, there's also that weird thing where like you go to engage one of their powers and you can see that it's like the A button you have to push to engage it because there are like the 4 cardinal directions and you have like these 4 main sages and then Minoru
Right.
following you around where it's like maybe each one of them should just be mapped to a button.
Yeah.
That's what I initially thought it was going to
Yeah.
be, but maybe that would have been too confusing because maybe by only mapping it to A, it is annoying that you can initiate things when you're trying to pick things up, but then you don't also have to worry about like doing whatever B does or like jumping, at the same time,
But also
all that stuff.
Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are always like, okay, now hold L1 and then push up on the D-pad and then scroll through. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right,
Like,
right.
There are so many different steps to like, and if you put it down for like a day or two and then come back, you're like, how do I do
No, it's true.
anything?
That's why that's where I played Tears of the Kingdom without like interrupting it with anything because I was
Yeah.
worried I would like leave it for a while, come back, and like
same.
have to relearn the control.
Usually I have like 2 games kind of going at the same time, and with Tears of the Kingdom, I was like, this is it. Like I can't do anything else but play this game. To the point where I would say that it was a big problem in my life. I played it a lot.
But what a great big problem.
Yeah.
Okay, light roots.
Oh yeah.
I don't have very many light roots. I only got 25. I didn't spend that much time in the depths.
43.
I have 59.
Wow. Okay.
And I would say that most of those have come in like the last 2 weeks since I beat the game.
Okay.
That I was like, I'm gonna explore this area because it's the perfect. Like if I'm on the surface or if I'm flying around in the Sky Islands, I'm like focused on like everything that's happening. But if I'm in the depths, I can like put on a podcast and just like
Totally.
just explore because all I'm doing is like just beating up those ore deposit things to
Yeah.
get more zonite to increase my battery.
Well, that was something that I was like, if this wasn't here in this game, I wouldn't miss it. It's like not my favorite.
Yeah.
Like I would do the same thing. I would sort of like just pick a direction and what I would do is from like a vantage point with my scope, mark things on my map. Sorry, Mark, I don't want to confuse you. I'll find a different word for it. I would place a beacon on my map.
Sorry, my middle name is place a beacon on my map.
Man, oh shoot. Okay.
It's good that you picked up on Mark doing the thing where he like turns his head like a dog. That's
Yeah,
like heard something like trying to triangulate. Like someone's
no,
saying
I wasn't.
my name.
I wasn't speaking your name. I was just saying I was leaving something on the map. There's fortunately not another word for it, so I am sorry. I would mark my map with the little lights that you can do, so I could just sort of know where I was going, and then find the light route or whatever. But if there was a boss, or like a field boss or something, or a bunch of
Or like a Lionel.
yeah, I would just run away. I was like, I'm not trying to have a hard time. I just want the map to be cleared, and that part of why I don't like going to the depths. Map's not clear.
No, that map's not anywhere near.
No.
Because you got to. It's what, like 120 of them down there, right?
It's too many. I'll tell you that.
Well, because isn't there's
one
supposedly
for
one for every shrine?
I think so.
Yeah, for every shrine on the surface.
Oh, on the surface,
right?
Okay.
So
Okay,
it doesn't necessarily correspond to a sky shrine.
No. And then in the sky too, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
You know.
I do know. Korok seeds.
I just got I didn't Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild didn't do anything for me and they didn't do anything for me in this game either. Although I kind of liked the variation where you have to get one Korok to like its friend.
Yeah.
And I did like 5 of those and I was like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, I started to resent that really
But
early.
I got 69.
Nice. I
Thanks,
got
guys.
121.
Oh my gosh.
There's like 1,200 of them in this game. How'd you do, man?
I got 16 of them.
Whoa!
Because
That's my speed.
I don't care about them at all.
Yeah.
Anytime I would see one of those guys, like, I'm trying to get to my friend. I'm like, these kids today, they're so soft. Get up.
But the part that makes that interesting.
Get off your backpack and do something.
The part that makes
Pack
that
a little less.
Yeah.
The camp is already over there. You don't need to bring whatever you're bringing there.
the part that makes that so interesting to me is then like you must have been really like not precious with weapons or like shields or anything.
No.
Because that's the part where I wanted them was to level up my inventory to a point where I felt comfortable. But you must have kind of just been like you just have like one weapon and you were like, I'm going to use this until it explodes, and then
basically, and then or I was doing a lot of fusions for like shields and stuff, and it's not going to give you that much more. But like if you have like a harder piece or something, that's going to sort of make it a little better. But I had a lot of like rock shields or whatever for a time until I would just find more, or better shields. But because I'm not parrying or doing anything with the shields, I had shields for a lot longer than most players would have them.
I ended up using my shields primarily to like, so I would defeat like a construct or something, and not have a weapon that I could fuse it to. So I would fuse it to my shield.
Okay, yeah.
Because used it as like more like storage basically, and then I would go to Terrytown and have the little Goron there like break it apart, and then I would fuse it when I needed it. That's basically what I use shields for.
I also think you should just be able to do that. It doesn't have to be
you should
guy.
have to see a man. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, you can always
it's cute,
break
but
it.
I don't need a new guy.
Yeah. I mean, I always like having a new guy.
Well, give me as many guys you got.
Yeah,
there.
I love
I'll
guys.
take
Look,
'em.
I love the guy. I wish like after he gave you the first spiel that
Yeah.
he didn't like need to explain his deal to you again.
Yes,
He's
yes,
like,
yeah.
I understand that you're gonna break it apart and
Well,
not put it back together.
This is
Like
the
I
same
get that.
thing. It's the same thing with the Korok seed guy.
Oh,
I love the dance.
Yeah.
I don't think I need to see it every single time.
Well, he doesn't need to tell me that like he smells Korok seeds. Like,
And I know you do,
I get it,
and
bro.
I know what you're gonna give me if I get them all. So don't.
please don't.
Is that actually true? Is it the same reward in Tears of the Kingdom? Is
I
it just like
assume.
a golden
poop?
poop
What if
basically?
it's 2?
Oh no.
What if it's poop and pee?
I don't need it either way.
I don't want it.
If
The
it's
whole
just the
bathroom
original-
set?
Yeah. Nasty.
So those are the stats. We
We didn't talk about battery.
Oh yeah,
we
battery.
didn't talk
Great
about
point,
battery.
Great point.
And I'll just show you right now, just because I have it open, I have 2,084 rupees. I'm sorry. Sorry to
it's
brag,
okay.
but
7,141.
oh, okay.
Yeah, but you glitched your way to
I
that.
did. Okay, I did duplicate some diamonds.
Putting Patrick on blast.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Could never figure out. Could never do it fast enough. Couldn't keep up with the discourse about the dupe glitches.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? I'll abstain. I'm good.
I did this during the like 4 days when there was like a super easy one where like you're in the air and you push, you like hold something and I even forget how to do it now. But you just like push 2 buttons at once and then he just like drops them and they stay in your inventory.
I could never figure it out either. I did not write down how many rupees I have, but it like current. I think in my inventory right now it's like 600 or something like that.
Okay, actually mine's like 1 million.
You dropped a couple zeros.
Yeah, it's actually 1 million.
Battery?
I only have 2 1/3.
So 2 batteries and then 1/3 of the next battery.
I have 2 2/3. Battery wasn't.
Yeah.
You have that enough. You can sort of kind of do anything.
That was exactly my experience.
Or you can find the battery, Zion, or what is it called? Like the piece.
Yeah, the Zonite charge.
Yeah, Zonite charge, and just put that on whatever vessel you need, and you're kind of good.
14 1/3.
Oh my gosh! But that's because you spend so much time in the depths.
Yeah.
Farming Zonite.
As soon
can
as
I pitch this real quick? And
yes.
you can take it or leave it.
Yeah.
But your nickname
is Battery.
Johnny Depths.
Wow.
Oh.
Hold on.
Kind of bad.
I had to decide how I feel about it.
Kind of bad, but it is kind of
bad. Yeah.
It's not. It's not preferable. You don't have to keep it. I'm just saying now because you like the depth so much.
Yeah. Let's try it out for this episode.
Okay.
Yeah,
see how I feel about it.
I'm just saying.
At the end.
It's like
Johnny
it's problematic, but
yeah, but like it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. You could take it back.
No, we're keeping it. As soon as I discovered, as soon as I started to wrap my head around, okay, I can get the Zonite turned into the Zonite charges here, and then cash those in with this other guy.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of those on the map. Then I was like, oh, I get it. I get this currency now, and I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Both times I upgraded my battery, I had to look up how to do it, because even the second time I was like, what do I do again?
And it wasn't happening frequently enough for it to be a thing that I cared about.
Yeah.
And I would have enough, okay, I guess I have 100 of these. It takes too many. That's too many.
It's so many.
I gotta be a regular Johnny Depths if I'm gonna have that much that much on me.
All right. It feels okay. I thought it would feel worse, but it feels okay.
It's like a hot tub.
Yeah, you don't have to put on a bunch of bracelets or something. It's just,
yeah, put those down.
A lot of scarves. No.
Patrick loves wine all of a sudden.
That would be great. I should always be hosting this with a glass of wine. The thing about
nice chilled red.
The thing about the batteries that I really liked once I started upgrading them was that anytime I got into any kind of vehicle, I was just like, I'll drive this forever.
Yeah.
I don't think at all about a vehicle's ability to get somewhere.
Yeah, it's interesting. I never really, and so I didn't use the building ability to actually make anything crazy. Because that's not how I don't craft in video games.
You make a Korok death machine?
Yeah, exactly. It's just not how my brain works. So I used battery when I needed to, purely for utility reasons. And I feel like the game is balanced enough where it's for players like me, you have the Zonite that you get from the gacha machines. And those batteries, the small ones and the big ones that you can put on something, or I have enough of the Zonite charges I can just eat them or something. It was what I think is really cool about the game is what I'm trying to say is that if you want to engage with that system, you can blow it out to crazy proportions. But I didn't want to, and I didn't feel like it hurt my experience.
And for the most part, just on the building aspect for a second, the times when you need to build something, all the stuff's right there. It's gonna be a basic a level 1 version of it or whatever. But usually when you're in a situation where the game wants you to use a glider, there's a glider right there.
Yeah.
And you can use it. You just have to know what to do with it. I was not an auto build guy at all. So I just never even tried to do that really. And I had a couple of things that I liked to build, but they always had batteries on them. That's the other thing. You could run a battery charge, whatever, fine. and ride it until it charges out or whatever. But then the vehicle
The gliders that just
disappears.
vanish. Yeah.
Like
It bums me out
will
that they
disappear
vanish for
before
no
the battery
reason.
runs
Yeah.
out. So I was just sort of like, oh well, I'm not going to worry about the battery because this thing is impermanent anyway. So I didn't ever really try to mess with it that much.
My favorite like auto build thing, and what I use all the time,
Yeah.
is just a glider, 3 fans, rockets on either side, like pointed up at an angle, and a steering column in the middle. So
Yeah.
like I can just get some height, I can get going.
That's good.
That's how I explored the sky. And then like you get a lot of when you are a regular Johnny Depp's like me,
Oh.
you get a lot of like Yiga schematics to like build it. Like
yeah.
I have this like
yes.
beam hover cycle thing. I have
Cool.
no idea how they build it, but like
And maybe you don't know this. I love beams.
it's
I give me any beam you got. I
Yeah,
love them.
yeah.
I love them all.
you gotta check out this hover cycle.
Yeah, I gotta check that out. Yeah, that sounds good. I'm gonna get back in there.
But so like I'll mess around with some of those like auto build things, but I'm never like saving something that I built and like I gotta keep deploying something like this.
Right.
Yeah, because I never built stuff, really what I used auto build for was things that I encountered.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I encountered one of those like metal grate things and then it had like a bunch of fans on it and a column in the center. I was like, oh, this thing's really handy. But you see like do you know what I'm describing? They were like
Yeah.
metal like blocks that would be floating around like the sky islands that were kind of like thick. And I was like, oh, this thing's kind of handy.
Yes.
And so I like favorited it. And then, I
Smart.
would throw down like 5 fans and a steering column and then auto build it. And it cost me like 2 zonite
Right.
because it just needed the like metal piece of it.
And that's such
And
a
I would like
better.
that's how I would use it.
That's
Yeah.
such a better floating platform than the one that you have to like use battery to keep in the air, because you don't have to use battery, and it's bigger.
Well, you still have to use battery to power like the fans.
Yes, but not
yeah.
to just keep it in the air. though.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I liked the cubes as well because they were also kind of like funny to drive, but like, because like that's not a car.
Right. You can't drive that.
What is this? There's cubes up here and you can pilot them. All
Mhm.
right. I do want to watch like a documentary about the people who designed the physics for this game because I feel like something must have happened where they like unlocked something and then the classic improv rule: if this is true, what else is true, and then just like
Yes.
unlocked everything.
Yeah.
Because I've seen videos of things that there's no way they anticipated that working. Like
Right.
the fact that you can make music with higher or lower like
Those stakes.
sticks,
Yeah.
stakes, it's unbelievable to me. Like that's wizardry. They didn't do that on I'd be surprised to learn if they were like, this has to be in the game.
Yeah.
It seems like a complete accident.
People
but,
have to be able to make music boxes.
But I heard about the development of the first of Breath of the Wild. The developer, what's the guy? The Zelda
Aonuma,
guy.
AJ Aonuma.
Yes, he was like, he hired people with different hobbies than just making video games. He's like, I'm gonna hire this rock climber because he's gonna bring an interesting perspective to this.
He's gonna know why that's fun.
Yes,
in
why
real
that's
life.
fun and how it works and like why you would need to do it in certain situations or whatever. And like, so I think about that and like this guy, he knows how to pick them. That's good. That's good stuff.
Well, and they, were just doing like a QA on the game for over a year,
Yeah.
right? That it was done, and they were like,
That's the most Nintendo thing, and it's
Isn't
so
it?
annoying.
I know.
Because I feel like we talked about this before, but like when they were like, "Hey, Metroid Prime remaster's coming out today," and you're like, "What? You've had this for how long? 2 years. Don't worry about it.
Right.
It's been done for 2 years. Yeah, we've been sitting on it for 2 years."
and it's like everything, because
Yeah.
the new Fire Emblem was like that too. That it had been like
Yeah.
done and ready to go, and like in the case of Prime and Fire Emblem, I think they were simply sitting on them because they didn't know when to release them.
Yeah.
And at least like Zelda, they were like, okay, like they're making sure it's perfect.
It just bothers me to know that
Yeah.
they have like a Prince style vault of bangers that they're just sitting on.
Yeah.
And that
Just
you
waiting.
know that there are some that never released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't
like,
that interesting?
that we never like knew
Yeah.
about the completed development
Yeah.
and are just sitting there.
Yeah. I mean, that was Star Fox
Mother
2 for
4.
the longest time.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I have a question. So I also gathered, like all the tiers So the way that I got the Master Sword is I gathered all of the tiers and like knew the story of everything about like Zelda. Speaking of which, I think that the kind of like lore in this game, some of it is really cool. This like the
Yes.
stuff about like swallowing the Spirit Stone
Yes.
and being turned into a dragon is awesome.
Dynamite.
And it makes me wonder what those other dragons that are like flying around, like
Yep.
what their deals are.
Yeah, that's
Um,
interesting.
But like so I came to it by like that, and then at the once I got all of those, you know, you get kind of like the quest to be like come find me,
Mhm.
and then the like light dragon or whatever dragon she is like was just like flying right above where I was.
Right, and so you just sought her out that way.
Yeah.
So I had not gotten all of the tiers yet, but I had gone into the Lost Woods and woken up the Great Deku Tree, and he
He
sends
was
you on
sick.
He was so sick.
I
He had-
didn't
he had
like that part. It made me sad.
He had a Phantom Ganon in his tummy.
Didn't like that.
No,
That scared me a lot.
it was bad.
That was my first encounter with a Phantom Ganon, and I was like, what?
I had encountered a Gloom Hand is
Uh-huh.
what it's
Okay,
called
yeah,
first.
yeah. Gloom hand. Sorry.
I had encountered one like somewhere else, and it like beat the crap out of me, right?
Yeah.
Like just destroyed me.
Yeah.
And I put like a little skull on my map to be like, don't go back here.
Yeah, too scary.
It's gonna kill you again. And then maybe 20 hours of gameplay later, got back down to the Lost Woods and the Deku Tree's belly, and like found it down there and was like, okay, now like there was a reason for me to fight this thing now.
Yeah.
And took it down. Felt great.
By the time I encountered one, it was okay. So I did the quest where I got like all 4 of the different areas, right? So I got the 4 different spirits. Why can I not think of what they're called? Sages.
Yeah,
Yes.
the phenomenons, the regional phenomenon.
Yeah. So I had all 4 sages, and then started to do the next part where you start the 5th sage's quest, which takes you to the castle, Hyrule Castle, and you like follow fake Zelda around, and then you find out it's fake Zelda, and you have to fight Phantom Ganon. And I kept dying at the Phantom Ganon fight, and so I left and got the Master Sword. And then when I came back, it made that fight so much super easy, and it made the Deku Tree when I finally did it super easy too.
Funny.
I had all the tiers way early, right?
Yeah.
And so when I finally got to the quest where I'm like chasing Zelda around, I was like, I know this isn't her. I was like, I have the awareness that Link knows that this whole thing's a charade.
Right.
But I was like, I guess I'll just go through this part.
Yeah.
And that's sort of like, I don't even think it's a complaint necessarily, but like sometimes games are too big where like I feel like you shouldn't be able to progress in certain things without doing it all together, kind of. Because like I shouldn't have known that Zelda was this dragon hour like 20 like of this game,
right?
You know what I mean? Like,
especially when you're running around with all these other guys that are like, "There's Zelda,"
yeah,
and you're like,
dude, you sound so stupid
sure
right
it's
now.
Not.
You're being so crazy.
Do you hear how you sound when you say "There's Zelda"?
But also,
don't you know she's a dragon flying around the sky?
I guess I'm the only one that stuck his head in the puddle or whatever.
Is that what's happening?
I can't remember what happened. No, I'm thinking of Harry Potter. But that's the only way that memories or you can get other people's memories is you got to put your face in them. I thought the boss fights for the regional phenomenon, while we're talking about it, the first one that I did, which was the lightning one, was the only good one. Like the other ones were like fine, but that one was so dynamic and so fun that the rest of them I was sort of like, okay, I'm just gonna like throw the rock at the guy or whatever. Or, okay,
it's
I'm
kind
gonna
of the
splash the water on the dirty.
I thought
guy.
that was the worst one.
Yeah,
it's the worst.
It's because you got to splash water on the guy, and then otherwise you're just like trudging through sludge. That sucks.
Yeah. The one where you're the robot's good. That one is good, but you miss a lot of it if you like. I guess I read that if you didn't do any of those other ones and you got to that one somehow, you have to fight all those bosses in a row before fighting the one that you're supposed to fight.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which is like pretty cool.
I do like the flying boss, the Wind Temple boss, where you have to like dive through its like gemstones.
And see, it's interesting that you say dive through, because I didn't do that.
Yeah, you can also just shoot it
I
out
was
with arrows.
like,
Yeah.
I left. I straight up left the fight and was like, I know this is gonna start the fight over. I have to leave. I don't have enough arrows.
Oh,
Yeah.
And like grinded for money to like buy enough arrows and was like, I'm taking this down.
That's how.
Yeah.
I did with arrows too. I didn't
Yeah.
even think about like diving through it.
Yeah, you can dive right through them. Well, it's
I felt like a big dummy
When you found out,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, I should have just dove.
I think the first time I fought it, I also did it with arrows.
Yeah.
But all of the bosses are in the depths somewhere. As regular Johnny Depps, I know this.
Yeah.
And I fought them all again, and they give you 100 of those like zonite charge
Oh.
things.
Okay,
so
yes,
you can,
yes,
you can do a
yes.
battery upgrade
yeah.
that way. But and yeah, so I just dove through them that time.
So I don't. My favorite approach to the regional phenomena
Mhm.
was the Rito one. I thought jumping on like the sails was super fun.
Yeah,
I
But
don't
it's
think
also
it was
it took
beat.
a long time. Like
It
was-
did take a
it's
long
so
time.
high.
I loved that one. I actually thought the approach in the desert was cool as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know, where you have
Mhm.
to like go through the storm and move like the light to form it. And, like, I thought the pyramid was cool.
Yeah.
Well, and there's that like very light tactics thing that you have to like stage like a trap
Yeah,
on this
uh-huh.
entrance, and like the
Mhm.
extra soldiers at this one
And yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
fighting the Gibdos.
But I didn't. I think the water one was my least favorite. Both
Yeah.
the approach and the like temple, which was kind of just like, hey, go around in a circle and
Yeah, I
you
gotta
know,
hear.
like-
I gotta learn the information from these gossiping kids. This
yeah.
sucks.
Well, and also, I don't like the idea of Prince Idon having a girlfriend.
no.
I'm his girlfriend.
Yeah,
Uh-huh,
yeah,
it's jealousy rears its ugly
Yeah.
head in Tears
maybe
of the
that's why I
Kingdom.
didn't like it. I
Yeah.
was like, he's not even like he doesn't even care about me anymore.
I know, yeah.
He like,
And,
gave me his shirt and like that's it. This sucks.
Yeah, like hang out with me, man.
Yeah.
and then I think the Goron one was, I guess, was a little bit better than the water one, but still not my favorite.
Anytime in a video game you're in a town and everyone's brainwashed, I don't think I like it.
Yeah, I did think it was funny that they were eating like the like poison rock meat.
That is
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
It
I
is
was like, this
funny.
is kind of funny, but it sucks. I also like I don't know that I like the desert fine in real life, but like a desert biome in a video game always puts me off because it's always the same.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like and like you know it's kind of true for all other biomes because like what can you do? You can't make them different, but like. I don't know. Like I'm always just sort of like I don't show me the desert in this video game.
You know, that's how I kind of felt about the Sky Islands.
Yeah.
Where I was kind of bummed that all the Sky Islands were so basic.
Yeah.
Where it's
Yeah.
like, you know, like once you've seen one, you've basically seen them all. It's like pleasant fall kind of atmosphere.
Yeah. Some of them are
There's-
smaller or bigger than other ones.
There's
you know?
not
Yeah.
really anything on them. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yes, they have shrines and like they have the like sage's wills that sometimes you can find them and all that kind of stuff. But it
Ooh,
just
how many of those did you find?
I ended up getting 8.
I think I only got like 5 or
I got like
6.
2, and like it was a complete accident.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, like I didn't realize that there was yet another currency in this
Right.
game.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and so you know, I upgraded Tulin and I upgraded Minoru, and I couldn't tell you. Apparently, it makes their like attacks stronger, but I feel like their
Yeah.
assistance is
Yeah.
so worthless 99% of the time. That
Yeah.
I didn't
For
notice at
Tulin
all.
too? I feel like Tulin's assistance is great.
Oh, really? Oh, no, not the I'm not talking about their ability to like push me further.
No,
I'm talking
yeah,
about like in
their combat. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't find any of
I
them
thought it was
helpful.
great because like what he'll do is like when I'm being chased by 2 electric bats, whatever they're called, lightning keeses.
Uh-huh.
And like I can have like the wherewithal to take out one of them with a spear. He's gonna shoot the other one. He's my boy.
I was never really paying attention to him in that way. I did use him a lot for gliding, and I was like, this is the only time that like he's got my back. But I don't know. I guess I wasn't really using. I would use the electric lady. You know, I
Riju.
Yeah, I would use her a lot, and I was just saying I don't like the desert, but take me back to that temple. I'm the only. What do they call the men?
Vo.
Vo.
Oh yeah, I'm just a vo. I don't know any better.
lonely vo.
Yeah, I'm just a lonely vo.
One thing, my experience with Tears of the Kingdom, and when we were kind of like struggling for the sages' names.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but like in Breath, I feel like I knew Breath of the Wild so much better than I know Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Where like I feel like I knew all of the champion names, and like
To be fair,
I loved all the champions.
They
and
scream their names when you
Yeah,
use their power.
Rivali's Gales now
Nephos
activated.
Grace.
But
Yeah.
and in this one, it's like I don't know the
The
Goron's
roots protection.
name.
Yeah.
I don't know the Goron's name.
It's
I don't know.
Yanobo.
Yeah, I had no idea.
When I was playing, because I was playing Breath of the Wild like 2 years ago, and for some reason it was really stuck in my ear that Rivali sounded like John Gemberling, and I like tweeted it at him, and like I know him a little bit, but so I was like, "Hey, this sounds like you. Do you agree?" And he was like, "I just heard it, and yeah, I do." He
Whoa.
agreed. He's like, "That does sound like me." Just a normal man's voice.
But that's an interesting.
I mean,
I'm trying to like square. Do I agree with like that? I feel more like the details of Breath of the Wild are imprinted on my brain more than like the details of Tears of the Kingdom.
like I felt like I knew Hyrule better, and I think we had kind of talked about this before we start recording.
Mhm.
That I do think you're right that some of it is there's just so much more of it now.
Mhm.
But I
Yeah.
feel like the geography of it, and like I don't know, and maybe I've kind of it's kind of lost to time now how many hours I did spend in Breath of the Wild because I moved to the OLED and that kind of got lost.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I know I had to have spent more time in Breath of the Wild because I got all the shrines, I played all the DLC. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
just by
I bought the DLC and I didn't finish it. Like I kind of bounced off of it at a certain point.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge game, and then they put more in it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess
I
that's
want
also
the
what Tears
motorcycle.
is.
I like kind of do want to go back and like get the
Yeah.
motorcycle. I never
What?
did it.
Why didn't they bring the motorcycle into the new one?
you could just build it, I guess, if you wanted to.
No.
I guess that's true. Yeah. And
No.
I will say one of my favorite details of Tears though, all my horses are back.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so
And
cool.
my most powerful horse, I did name Matt. And he's there. And I named 2 other horses after my cats.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a
Wait,
fun
so-
moment.
You have a cat named Hurley,
I have
right?
a cat named Hurley and I have a cat named Sawyer. Yeah, that's right.
So I set all of my horses were I boarded during Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
which I played in 2017 when it came out, when I was in the throes of doing a Weezer podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Oh, we're the same guy.
yeah, we're very similar in that specific way.
Yeah.
But so all of my horses are named like Rivers,
Yeah.
and Pat, and I have a Hurley,
Yeah.
and so the only new horse that I boarded was the Zelda's horse from I guess a fake Zelda horse in the Hebrew region.
Yeah.
And I named her Drunk Dory.
Nice.
Off of,
Very good.
Summer Lane and Drunk Dory.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
It's
like,
from the White Album, if you're wondering, people.
Look, the White Album's great.
Did they do that Song Explorer episode on that one? I think they did.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
It's a great episode of Song Explorer if you want to hear Rivers Cuomo being
The weirdest man.
An insane man.
Yeah, it's always like I remember there being articles around like when Green came out of
Yeah.
like, oh, he's got a formula and like all this stuff, and then hearing him actually walk through it
Yeah.
on the Song Exploder, where he's like, I have all of these phrases like organized by the number of syllables and like where their stress is, and it's just stuff that he's heard in movies.
He's my absolute favorite freak. I love
he's
it.
the best.
Yeah, there's nobody like him.
No, not a one.
But I digress.
But we have horses named after. I have
Yeah.
a horse named after him.
Yeah.
And
I will
was
say
thrilled to see him again.
My cat is named after what the Hurley album is named after, which is the
Yes.
actor Jorge Garcia
Yeah.
from Lost.
Which also explains Sawyer. Then.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And Sawyer was first, but I feel like it rolls, you say Hurley and Sawyer, not Sawyer and Hurley for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. You definitely do.
You do.
Mark, did you have any horses that carried over?
I did have horses that carried over, but I, in both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, never really used horses.
Mm.
And so I don't know. I couldn't tell you the name
Yeah.
Big. One of them is named Big. but I don't.
We play these games so differently.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
will
true.
say, I know all my horses, and because I had to use them for certain missions.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm walking. I don't think that the horse traversal is very good. Only because, I mean, I'm sure you guys played it too, but I spent a lot of time with Red Dead Redemption 2, and I was just like, this is horse riding. This
Yeah.
is good stuff.
A la This Is Pod Racing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whee!
I What about spinning? That's a good trick. I agree that like because I really I want to be like catapulting through the air all the time, and if I had like an acrobatic diving horse or something, like maybe then I would take him along with me.
Yeah, like in Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken.
Yeah, just like in Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken.
So Patrick and I have talked about this, and I'm interested in your take.
Yeah.
Is like Patrick likes to upgrade armor, and he uses armor like thoughtfully in combat. He's like, I need this boost for this situation. I don't think about armor at all.
Yeah, I typically don't, but then I'll find myself playing these types of games, and I did this a lot with Elden Ring actually, like because I played the heck out of Elden Ring. I played that probably for 175 hours or something. And also that horse, Torrent in Elden Ring, one of the great horses in any video game. Rides perfectly, has a double jump, and you can summon him at any time out of a ring that you have, and he's just then ready to go. It's Torrent rules. But I'll often look up like builds in like RPGs and stuff, and just being like, okay, like I'm getting
how did someone else max this out?
How did somebody do this? What do I do? Like I just want to play and like not think about this anymore. And so like in tiers, I was like, okay, I guess I do have to like upgrade some like defense armor because I was getting housed in the like final section in the game, like just dying constantly. And I was like, okay, I need more defense, and I guess while I'm at it, a little more strength. And so I did grind for whatever the guts that I needed for the
barbarian
fairies,
armor and stuff.
and got that stuff, but was just like, this is not my favorite thing because also aesthetically I don't like those armors. Like I kind of just want him to look normal. Like I'm not trying to do too much, like because there's some armor you can get that's like cool, but it's too crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to do all that. Like even in
I love making him look like a freak.
Yeah.
Like and also I am like micromanaging armor. So I'll be like running around the depths with like the glowing armor, so that I don't have to be throwing down like light bloom stuff. And then I'll get into a fight, and so I'll like throw on something with high defense, and then like I'll dodge out of the way.
So you're switching on the fly if you got to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'll dodge out of the way, start a flurry rush, and I will switch to my barbarian armor during the flurry rush to deal more damage.
If I did one flurry rush in the game, it was an accident. Like I don't learn how to do stuff like that. And like to your point earlier about the like learning the Zonite, like how to exchange it for battery, I like did look that up every time because I was just like, I don't know what to do or where to go.
Yeah.
And like and same with like getting the guts for the the Sundelion plant. I was like, I need that. Where do I get that? And like had to look up like the place that has the most of it.
Right.
And
the
like
sky.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I gotta go up, and like just kind of was hopping around islands because like you do need that if you're gonna survive the final fight with the or the final section rather with the number of hearts that I had, which was not all of them.
I also found I have seen people with full hearts, but I don't know how that's accomplished.
That's so sad. That's like really sad to think about. Just like that you like see these people with full hearts and don't know how to do it. That's really sad. And you know, I know that this is like not maybe the forum for it, but you should just like I think you could do it.
I think that I could have a full heart.
I think you could have a full heart sometime. Yeah, don't sell yourself short.
No,
wow, that really just broke my heart.
Now I'm sad. Yeah. But like mathematically, I don't know.
No, I don't understand either. Because I mean, well, you have to have enough of the
of those little orbs.
Yeah.
But I feel like, and there are a couple other ways that you get hearts, right?
Yes, for defeating bosses and such.
Defeating bosses, there's you can return the 4 eyes from the Great Plateau to that like statue in the depths, like
the bargainer statue.
Yeah, the bargainer statue. That'll get you another heart.
But everything down there does sound really cool. The bargainer statue sounds great.
Okay, I watched just yesterday this like 20-minute video that was about like the lore of those statues.
Yeah.
And I don't understand any of it, but it is so. But like this person did, and it was so cool.
I didn't know the pleasure of like a lore video until I played Elden Ring because there's a lot of like inscrutable lore in that game where I was like, what is
going on?
Margit and this person are related? Like how? And then everybody watches this guy, Vati Vidya.
That's exactly who I watch for all the Bloodborne stuff.
Okay, yeah, and
Yeah.
his videos are incredible and so dense and such just packed with great information that it made me understand a little bit. And then it was like, well, I'm not in school, I'm not taking notes or nothing. But
Right. Well, and that's their job.
But he just talks about how like all the bargainer statues in the depths are like directly below a statue of Hylia that you can but then the bargainer statue that takes over the statue of Hylia on the depths until you like meet on the Great Plateau until you like meet him, and it's just like it's like so cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, the connection between the depths and the surface is rad. Like, I love the like where there's water, there's a wall so high that you can't climb it. Where there's a mountain on the surface, there's like a valley in the depths.
I haven't played, like, the only Zelda games that I've played are Link's Awakening, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, is that the one they remade?
Yeah.
So I played the remake of that. I played Phantom Hourglass on the DS. I played some of the one I talked to Connor about, Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
And Breath of the Wild and this one. And so I was just not aware how much lore there even is. There's a lot.
So much lore.
Yeah.
I thought he was just a little guy. And like that's it. And then now I'm learning that there's all this stuff, and I was like, this it's funny to me that like I, for a long time was like these are like challenging games for children, right? Like it's like all these like Nintendo games are like they're thinking the primary audience is kids.
Challenging games for children.
But like there's these are and Metroid.
Yeah.
Are more dense than like Mario or any of their other like first party titles, and I just think that's so interesting.
Well, they're dense and specific in a way that's like just a little offshoot from what you would expect.
Exactly.
Like, Zelda, you can look at it and be like, okay, that's a fantasy thing.
Yeah.
But like, then it's got like Lynels and Gleeoks and bird people and fishmen, and like it's all just like a sidestep away from what you would think. It's like the same thing with Metroid, where it's like, okay, this is a regular like sci-fi kind of thing, and like no, it's weirder than that.
Yeah.
So like if you really dig into the lore, who do you go to for a Zelda lore video? Do you do Zeltic?
Yes. So Zeltic, there. Let me look up who did this.
The depths one.
One that I was watching because it was really good.
I do think that the whole, because there was Zonai stuff seeded in Breath of the Wild, right? And it's just like scattered around here and there, and like
and you're like, oh, what is that?
What is it? And you just be like, well, nothing. It's just nothing here.
Yeah.
Nintendo Black Crisis. Let's not dwell on the name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's fine.
And then we just Zonai all over the place here in this one.
Yeah.
That they're like an active part of it.
Yeah. And also, like, not to get into like Zelda timeline stuff, but what does this do for
obliterates it?
Because especially like the Zonai are, where do the Zonai fit in with what we know from Skyward Sword, which is that basically Link and Zelda repopulated the Earth?
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
And so, where does like this as
I think it just like supersedes it. I like in a lot of ways. The Zelda timeline always seemed like you dorks want this all to fit together. Fine, here it is. And like every opportunity they have to mess with it, they do.
Yeah.
And so when they're like, oh yeah, this is the first Zelda story, it takes place before anything, they mean that in like a biblical sense,
well,
right?
We still don't know where on the timeline where Breath of the Wild fits.
Right.
And so this would be a direct sequel to whatever that is. But the reason I ask again is because, in Skyward Sword, it seems like that's the first time that but so where do like Rauru and
the rest of the Zonai?
Uh-huh.
And also, how many Zonai are there? Are there just 2?
By the end, in Tears of the Kingdom, it appears that there are only 2 left, Rauru and Minoru.
Right.
But they are the last of like a great
They
people.
came down from either the sky or another planet.
I don't know. I can't shrug hard enough. I have no. I
think it's heaven.
They're probably from heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just they're so strange, and like I'm just glad we get to spend like time with these weirdos.
I love Rauru. I would love for Rauru to be my.
I know.
He's my. Sidon was my Breath of the Wild boyfriend,
right?
And
now he's got a girlfriend.
Rauru is my Tears of the Kingdom
I think
boyfriend.
everybody that I know that was playing it was like Raru about to make me act up.
Here's the
He's
thing.
hot.
He's wearing those pants so low.
Yeah, he's cool. He's just like a really cool guy.
Just want to use his hair as a blanket.
Yeah.
Just want to take a nap in his hair. It's so much hair.
They're all
Yeah, everyone's
all
hot in
snacks.
this game. It's
yeah,
true.
everyone is hot in this game.
Should we talk about? I mean, we've kind of danced around a little bit, though, like what the actual like story is and what like because you and I, Mark, were talking the other day off mic about how satisfying the ending of the game is, and how it like ties to get like from a narrative level and a gameplay level, like just marries everything. But like we have been kind of dancing around like Zelda gets sent back 100,000 years in time.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. That's
It's
pretty nuts.
It's a crazy thing. And your Master Sword gets destroyed and then like also teleported back in time 100,000 years.
And you get a really cool arm.
You get a really cool arm.
Raru's arm.
Yeah.
Raru's arm. And so like Zelda back in time.
Mm-hmm.
She's hanging out with with I guess mostly with Minoru and Raru.
And Sonia.
Yeah, and Sonia. That's right.
Yeah.
And like it's just like Ganondorf is around and is like menacing them, right?
He's like gaining power and gaining followers because like the rest of the Gerudo are following him, and they are like there is war in Hyrule, but Raru is able to use because there's that part where like they're charging and Raru uses his power to basically like blow them all away, and so Ganondorf knows that he's not going to be able to defeat Raru unless he has that power for himself.
Right. And meanwhile, Zelda's like, how can I get back to the present? Can I get back to the present?
Yeah, I miss
Maybe
all my
I'll
stuff.
Yeah. I don't know anyone here.
I don't even know what this is.
Yeah. It's confusing.
Yeah.
But at what point is she like, because at some point she's like, yo, Raru, like, this is all going to happen in 100,000 years and we need to be prepared. Is that after Sonia dies? Like, at what point does she make that turn? I'm
That's
not really
interesting,
clear by the...
Yeah.
Well, I got the story completely out of order, so
Right.
I'm the last person that would know.
But like you sort of have to get it out of order because the tiers are like they are specific. So like it's not like you collect the first tier no matter where it is and it's
Right.
memory number one.
Yeah.
So like you will get the story out of order.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, when you gather all of the tiers, do you, at that point, have you unlocked all of the videos that are in the menu? Because I feel like the answer was no. And how do you get those other videos? By completing the game? Or is there other stuff that I missed?
One of them was getting the Master Sword.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I think there was a couple of the other ones are different like story beats. I think you get them all later, but like I think you get like almost all of the videos, but not quite. But then some of them are like story beats for like end game stuff.
But so I mean, like the threat. Well, and yeah, do you get like? Well, maybe you don't actually get a video for every time you beat one of the atmospheric phenomenon.
So
regional phenomenon.
You
do get like someone in a mask explaining the exact same thing.
Yes, that's
every time.
That's
that
one of the
do
downsides to the game being like you can play it in any order.
Yeah.
Zelda came to me and said I would need to support you. Yeah.
Oh, there was something that the companions, before you get them, would repeat every time. And I wish I remembered what it was, because they would say it every time the exact same way.
Was it like the oath that they have to say?
No, it was like they were confused about something. They'd be like, it wasn't this, but they were like, Princess Zelda's missing?
Yeah, like a second floor basement.
Exactly, yeah, something like that. Yeah, and it's
Metal
always just
Gear.
like... Metal Gear? But it was, they would repeat it all the time. And I'd be like, you can't also be confused by this.
Yeah. Well, they're all being bamboozled by a fake Princess Zelda, who it is cool when it is revealed that it's like a puppet of
that was cool.
Of
I
Ganondorf.
like when that happened.
And then like you do this battle with the fake Zelda, and then Mark, I talked to you about this briefly, but did you notice the change in the Blood Moon cutscene? Yeah.
Yes, where like because before you find out that it's fake Zelda, she's like standing in the Blood Moon in the cutscene and like
has
saying,
this like ominously like the Blood Moon rises. Yeah.
And then after
like
she's
you kind
gone
of
from it.
like it too much. You're like kind of excited about it.
Yeah. I mean it's kind of
Yeah,
kind of cool.
It is
She
kind of
seems
cool.
like it's kind of cool.
But like, you shouldn't like it.
No.
It's kind of scary.
No, like it's evil.
I'm always skipping it. I saw it the first couple of times and I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
But after you beat that fake Zelda,
Yeah.
that narration is gone.
Right. She's not in the cutscene anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because hey, she wasn't real.
I don't think
was a
I've
fake Zelda.
experienced a Blood Moon since
Oh,
beating
interesting.
like,
Oh,
the
really?
game. Yeah, I don't think so. Because I don't think I have like. Well, I jumped into Final Fantasy 16 immediately
Sure.
after Breath of the Wild, or not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. So I just haven't like had the time to get back in there.
So I was kind of like, I'm not going to finish it until I'm ready to be done with it, because
Yeah.
I know that once I like beat Ganondorf,
Mhm.
I am going to be done with it, and that's exactly what happened. It's
Yeah.
like a switch went off in my brain, and I haven't turned it back on except to check my stats.
Yeah, I think that like that's just like the trap of like hosting a video game podcast where like we were like we're
Yeah.
gonna talk about this next month, and then like having a month to play it, and then playing it a lot, and then sort of like feeling the need to I don't think I had finished it by the time we had recorded the episode. I think I was close to finishing it, but I was like, I'm ready to be done with this. I'm kind of done.
Yeah.
I want to, well, because also like then Diablo came out, and I was like trying to play that, and then fell off of that a little bit, and then but Final Fantasy 16 was just like there's just too many long games. I'd love a game to come out that's like an absolute banger that's like 15 hours.
Yeah, I mean that's Pikmin 4.
Yeah,
Right. Like,
is that really? Is it true?
Yeah, they're short games. Like none of them are that
Oh.
long.
People have been telling me
You may have to
that
get
I
on
would like
the
Pikmin.
Pikmin train.
But
Okay.
to your original like point of this.
My original point.
Yeah, with the story stuff.
Yes.
With the story stuff.
Yeah.
Is so yeah, Zelda gets sent back in time like 100,000 years. She becomes friends with the last of the Zonai, and Ganondorf is gaining power. Ganondorf has the ability to shapeshift. I'm not actually clear how he has that ability.
Yeah.
But then he kills Sonya, which is
Takes
Raru's- takes her
tear.
spirit stone,
Right.
and then uses that to become like super powerful. He's unstoppable. So the only way that like they're able to stop him,
And when you say
is-
they, that also includes the sages that
yeah,
are
the sages
Yes.
from that time.
who aren't named, which is weird.
Right.
They're not named, and they're always wearing those masks.
Yeah.
And I always think that the masks are strange because they are the masks of the divine beasts, right?
Yeah.
But like then there's a fish man wearing an elephant mask.
Uh-huh.
There's a Goron wearing like a lizard mask, where it's like, guys, pick one animal.
Yeah. Or like trade to the one that sort of makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
Wait, but
Move
aren't
around.
aren't they they're the like you said, they're the mask of the divine beasts that those
Yes.
like,
Yeah. No.
people had,
It
right?
makes so. Yeah. The Birdman is wearing a bird mask, but the rest of them don't line up.
Well, but they do, because remember the divine beast for the
I
Goron
understand.
were
I
like
understand. I'm saying a fish man is wearing an elephant head, and it's weird.
It don't make no sense.
You don't have to agree with me. Just acknowledge that I didn't say something stupid.
I did like the patterns where the tiers are in.
Yes,
I
that was
like
cool.
like that's something I want to like if I was like an adventurer would want to investigate anyway because I
Yeah.
think that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's like crop circle
Yeah, I
stuff.
was like, how did this get here? What
Because
the
those are
heck?
based on but there's like that's a real like
Yes.
thing, and it would
Yes.
be cool to see those in person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love
Yeah.
to see that. I like to look at like I went to Hawaii a couple years ago and I
Yeah.
had never been to the Big Island before, and there's like glyphs you can go see, and that was like the one thing I wanted to do. I was like,
That's
I gotta
so
go see
cool.
some glyphs. That's wild. That's
Yeah.
like just that they're there.
Are
and you
they
can go touch them?
Are they big?
They're like, I mean, they're like where people lived and stuff. And it's like you
Whoa.
would have like, I mean, this is a complete tangent, but like the where these people lived, they would like mark on it like this is where this family lives and stuff like that. And so like the pictures
That's
on the
so
thing
cool.
denoted like who lived there and stuff, and like the family, what group they were in, and things like that. And it was really cool. I just couldn't. It was by a 7-Eleven. Like it was it was very close to a main road and it, near a gas station. Like yeah, it was
Convenient.
nuts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they didn't have any problems. They had all the gas they needed there.
That's
It was
right. They had it all.
yeah,
They're fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're fighting off Ganondorf. The only thing they can do is Rauru can like freeze him in place with this sealing ceremony.
Right. And that is where, at the beginning of Tears of the Kingdom, like Zelda and Link find that like Ganondorf with Raru's arm still in it.
Yeah.
And then, but then there's like another part where Zelda has to become a dragon, and I can't entirely track how this all.
So my read on that is that like after everything, after like Zelda's like, okay, now I don't have any friends here anymore. Everyone's been like defeated. Although I guess the sages are still around. Anyway, Rauru.
You didn't really talk to them that much.
Yeah, she's like
they weren't like friends.
I'm not like close.
They're
like
work friends. Where
right.
like the only thing they had in common was Rauru.
Yeah, I see you at Raru's parties, but like I like go there and like hang out with Rauru.
Right, like we could get a drink together if we're already at the same place, but like we're not gonna meet up.
We have one thing in common: we love Rauru.
Exactly,
we love Rauru.
and that's all we would talk about. Like, right? And when Raru's gone, what do you do?
Yeah.
Right. So she's like, forget this, I'm turning into a dragon. Yeah. So she's got the Master Sword and knows that all the Master Sword needs to be like powered up again is A, time. She's the Sage of Time. B, access to some like holy light or something.
Yeah. I sort of took it as, because then she became the dragon with it embedded in her head.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, the only way I'm going to get back to my time is if I exist the lifetime it would take for me to get back to my time as a dragon.
Yes.
Right? That's like I sort of, that's what I thought.
And
yeah.
It's some real Robo in Chrono Trigger stuff of him like agreeing to plow the fields for 100 years.
That is so crazy to think about because
it sucks.
So that means that like Zelda as a dragon is flying around in Breath of the Wild. So there's like two Zeldas.
Yeah, I mean we don't see that dragon in Breath of the Wild though.
But it had to have existed.
Sure.
Right?
I mean, the depths aren't new. They're like they've been there, right?
Yeah,
like it's they maybe
because if she's been around for 100,000 years waiting for this moment, but she also, and I think it's part of it is like because she gets Link has the broken Master Sword at the beginning of the game. He goes to like that like light area where Zelda disappeared, and then he puts the Master Sword there, and it like through time, and then Zelda has it and is like, okay, I can restore this, but I know the Ganondorf is coming back in 100,000 years because I was there.
Yes.
And so I have to become a dragon. And Minoru's like, no, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But then she eats her spirit stone and becomes a dragon. And it is awesome.
It's really, really cool.
She loses her mind. It's great.
Yeah.
And it's just like flying away and crying while the rest of the sages are like watching.
Yes. But then also like, so getting that story beat.
Yeah.
Like 15, 20 hours in.
Yeah.
And like crying, right?
Yes.
Because it's like a beautiful sequence. And then watching Link be dumb the entire game.
Yes.
So how long did you wait?
Mushrooms on shields and stuff.
How long did you wait to get the did you try to get the Master Sword and didn't have enough hearts? Or like, how long did you have to wait to actually get the Master Sword?
I feel like I got the Master Sword at like an appropriate story point to get it. Where I was like, okay, if you needed to go take down Ganondorf now, you could do that.
Got it.
So I didn't have it for very long before finishing it. Because also, like, those Lost Woods, that's tricky. That's some stuff. That
was tricky.
It is tricky stuff. And, like, frequently not in, like, a fun way, where you're just like, I'm walking and now I just, like, I get swallowed up by the mist.
I mean, look, I got through that part with a guide.
Yeah.
I was walking in the correct direction. And still getting sucked up. I think I went about it the other way. I think because you can't go.
You have to go through the depths.
Yeah, you have to
in this game in order to like get there. Yeah,
nasty.
Yeah, I loved all the dragon stuff. Like I thought Zelda as a dragon was so cool. I think this is my favorite like getting of the Master Sword.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's
such a beautiful sequence. The art style of the game just like pays off beautifully here. And then I think we were joking about it's kind of like Jafar and Aladdin turning into a genie that in like Ganondorf's final form of course has to be like a dragon, and that whole sequence I loved where it's like okay, I know I'm not gonna die, this is just like experiencing this moment. And then the stuff after you defeat Ganondorf in his dragon form where you then you're like diving after Zelda as she transforms back into human form and is falling through the sky and the music kicks in. And the game is like gives you a prompt to like go get Zelda,
reach out
and
to her.
like you are falling, and Zelda. The end of this game I think is so beautiful. I loved it so much.
Yes,
well, and the fact that is calling back the like very first story beat of her like falling into the hole and he's like reaching out to her, but this time you can actually save her.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome. The fact that the as you're like flying around in the sky fighting the dragon Ganondorf, that is so much like how you get the Master Sword. Like it's the same basic concept of like you're flying around in the sky and just like trying to land on things. And that like you mentioned that like you can't fail that, or it's very the game's got your back. It's not going to let you fail at this point. You're just going to beat up this dragon. But the way that it plays out, it's that Zelda won't let you fail.
Yes.
Like every time you try to plummet, she like picks you back up and is like, nope, here you go, do it again.
Yeah.
And it's just so like it feels like she's contributing so much to your victory at the end there.
It's I was just really stunned by like
Yeah.
how important like the end of the game felt. Like, cause like sometimes you finish a game and you're sort of like, oh well, I took down the big boss, that was kind of it, and like I won. But like this was like, I don't know, it was like as satisfying as like any movie I've seen this year. It was, like, it was great. It was a home run.
I was trying to remember how I felt after the boss fight in Breath of the Wild, and like because you're riding around on horseback, you're kind of it's almost
you have those gold arrows that don't run out, right?
Yeah, and like does that have the same kind of like satisfying? Does it feel as conclusive as?
It's more like it's fun, but it's more boring than the dragon one. Dragons are cooler.
Yeah, that's true. Put some dragons. Put some dragons in the game.
I feel like this is one area where Tears of the Kingdom like really improved on Breath of the Wild. Is I think the approaches to the temples in Tears of the Kingdom are better than the approaches to the Divine Beast, and I think the temples are better than the Divine Beast. And I think the story moments, like, I didn't really sequence break, and I'm sure you can, but like having to get the 5th stage and going to the like Thunder Temple, and then you get the mask, and then it's pointing you to a direction, and you're going like all of those like story steps. I felt so cool to me, and I felt like the ending was also an elevation from what Breath of the Wild offered.
Yeah, I thought it was so funny because like starting the game, if we can just go all the way back to the beginning for a second, starting it, sort of like knowing that I thought it was before I had even pressed like start, basically, I was like, okay, new Zelda. I loved Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild did take me 3 tries to get.
Yeah.
And then once I did get it, I did click with it, and I really liked it. I was like, okay, I'm already on board. I know this game's going to be great. There's absolutely no way it's going to be better than Breath of the Wild. And then truly within minutes, I was like, I can't believe they did it. It was like they like this game is immediately like by at least a factor of 10 like better than Breath of the Wild. Because I was like the powers are more interesting.
It's staggering, right?
Like because like I thought that the abilities you have in this game are more intuitive than the abilities you have in Breath of the Wild. Like, I don't know. You could design an entire game around any of the abilities Link has in this game.
Right.
Like, and you'd be like, this is a great game.
It would be a 9 out of 10 indie game that's just Ascend.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like the fact that he has all of these and that they, you can pretty much do it with anything. When I learned you can ascend through a battle talus.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is.
It's amazing.
Come on, that's incredible. You shouldn't be able to do that. Like the implication of it is gross. Like you're like oh, so this living rock.
You think it's got guts?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, is it like wet inside? Or is it just rocks?
I think it's just rocks. Just dry gravel inside.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't want to think about it having like a nervous system.
That's interesting. My experience was a little bit different. Like it took me a little because Breath of the Wild is my favorite video game of all time.
Sure.
And not just the game itself, but the experience of playing it and the social experience of talking to people about it, and learning all the things you could do. And so I was like, are they gonna be able to like beat it? And I think for me, objectively, I think Tears of the Kingdom is a better game. But I think my experience of playing Breath of the Wild is more special to me. But that's not just like the game itself. It's like the time it was in my life and what was happening and being able to talk to people. It was the first time for this type of game, right?
Yeah.
But I think and so it took me a little while. Like I was on the Great Plateau and I was like, I don't know about this like Ultra Hand. Like it seems so finicky. But really, within the but then I beat the Great Sky Island, hit Hyrule, and it was like, oh no, this is
I'm back, baby.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Like this is amazing with like these amazing new abilities. And like Ultra Hand became like so. What I realized is like, oh, it doesn't really matter. Ultra Hand is so forgiving.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like you can just like
it's not right on the car, right on the rail or whatever. It'll adjust
exactly
it a little bit.
like
yeah.
it's and that's what I think is so like remarkable about this game is you know, we talked about like the different systems. It's like you care a lot about armor. I don't care at all about armor.
Yeah.
But I didn't think about like upgrading the armor. I was just like, oh, I need more strength. I'm just gonna cook. You know, like there are a lot of systems.
Let him cook.
But you don't have to like you don't have to engage. You don't have to engage with any of them. You can still have like
you can do both. You can upgrade the armor.
I did cook and I did get a little bit more armor. I didn't go all the way.
Yeah.
I didn't max out any armor.
Here's the thing. I'm still working really hard on upgrading the dive armor, right? The glide stuff.
You finished the game.
I still want to do this. Matt, if you upgrade it all the way, you can slam into the ground as fast as you want and take no damage.
Look, there's a world where I get back in there and see what else is going on. You know, this time next year when they release a DLC or something, I'll get back in there. But for now, like I haven't touched it since the end of June. Like I just haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't felt the need to get back in there, and I do think about it fondly. I think about it as you know. Will it flash before my eyes once I pass? It might. It's certainly one of the things I spent the longest doing in my life.
Yeah.
If you think about the things that I've done, but you know, like I think this year, I played that game more than I on purpose went outside.
Yeah.
Like, but
well, it was cold for a while and now it's hot.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. What am I gonna do? Like,
you gotta stay inside.
Call me when it's nice.
Yeah.
Temperature. When I built my first cart in the in the Sky Island in like the tutorial section of the game, I was like, I texted. I think I maybe texted Zig, my friend Zig. This is game of the year. No, it's like it's impressive that you can
legit,
even do
though,
that.
Yeah. I like maybe like one time had the game do something where I didn't expect it to do. Like it were kind of like bugged out. But otherwise it is like totally incredible how like well that it handles everything. But no, I do think I wish that like I could save video of me solving shrines and watch like Patrick do it and watch like you do it, because I am so curious how other people solve some of these shrines, because sometimes it was the most janky
totally.
I like put a balloon on something and it took me like 3 minutes to float to a point, you know what I mean?
Or like those moments where like, I mean, I feel like there's like there's the way you're supposed to solve something, right? That's like the way that they designed the puzzle or a part of the game. But then there's ways that you can figure out on your own. But then I feel like there's another thing where there's ways that they're expecting you to do it, and that trips me up a little bit too, because like there's this one section where it's one of the towers or something, and it's like there's a big moat, and it's like but there's also like a wall around it, so you're like, okay, like I guess if I get high enough, I could glide. That's probably what they're thinking that I want me to do, but they're also probably thinking that I'm gonna build a big bridge, which is what I did. And I was like, this wasn't an accident. There wasn't enough. It didn't happen to be just enough trees around for me to make a big bridge. They put these trees here so that if I wanted to make a big bridge, I could do it. And that is like, there are games where you can fall through the floor. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Cyberpunk was a game that came out, like, and like was like, and you know what? For as stupid as it was, I loved
strays?
it. Like, no reason to disparage that. I'm very excited for the Phantom Liberty. I liked it, but like, you know what I mean? Like, their games can come out in disarray, and like this game. They just were like, here's everything, and it's perfect.
It's like two things in concert, right?
Yeah.
Like the one is that they give you all these tools, right?
Yes.
So many tools, they're all exciting and they're all fun. And then the world that they design you to use those tools in is also perfectly designed.
Yes.
Like you mentioned, those trees are there, right? Like the materials you need to have fun with those tools are always present.
Yeah.
And like you're rewarded over and over again, and it just like feels great. And like that's why I beat the game, and like I can't stop going down into the depths.
Yeah.
Like I'm just still having fun.
We haven't even talked about like how fun it is to like fuse something to an arrow. Like,
it's the best.
I like
such
when you can do it And they all have, because like they all have different things. Like the most effective one for me, I think, is like, yeah, it makes sense to like do like a bomb on one or whatever, like for damage. But for me, if I want to like get in there and like do some fighting, I'm like, I'm going for the eyes and toss an eye on that thing, and then it gets them in the eyes, and they're like, oh, my eyes.
I love the Muddle Buds.
Yeah.
Make guys confused. Let them fight amongst themselves.
Yeah.
I love that.
Hot shrooms where they just kind of lose sight of you.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say one thing to like your point. I feel like one thing this game does really well is it's like makes you feel like a genius.
Yes.
All the time. And it makes you feel like you are like, I solved this in a way that nobody was expecting me to solve it. And yet there's that subtle hand. Like, so it's like
it's an extra set of footprints.
Exactly. It totally is. Like the game like sets you up for success.
Yes.
But it does it at its best. It does it in such subtle ways that you don't even like.
Yeah.
It feels like your idea. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or if you have the idea, it supports you in doing that.
It's the best version of like how like when you're a little kid, like what playing with a parent should feel like. You're like, oh wow, yeah, you really did beat me at that. That really good job. And like,
or like trying to convince your boss that something is their idea. Like that's what Nintendo is doing to me all the time.
Yeah, but it's just like I can't. Yeah, there's like. It's just, I don't know. I could talk about the design of this game absolutely forever. I also like, I mean, this is like not a spoiler like thing or whatever. I went really hard in on this game in a way that I like sent my points away and got the glow in the dark keychain.
Love it. Yeah, cool.
And I bought the Pro controller and the case. I didn't get the Switch because I had just switched to the OLED, and I was like, oh well. Come on, like of course they would do that to me, but I'm glad that it just wasn't like, and then it's a new Switch 2 or something. Right. But yeah,
they made you wait for so long to get your copy.
Oh yeah, so Patrick and I went together. We went in the big group and picked up our copies.
Yeah,
and they like didn't have my copy. They had my confirmation, but like they didn't have my copy for some reason.
It was so dumb that they were like tagging individual copies for the people like specifically who pre-ordered them.
Yeah,
instead of just having like a big crate of them and handing them out.
It was just so crazy because I was like, this could just be solved in like 2 seconds. Just give me a different copy. Like, I don't need the one that had my name on it.
Right.
I'm going to peel the plastic off. And I was also like, I can guarantee you, if you let me back there, I could find it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. But it was, it was, I go to the place where we went a lot, and it's never like that on that day. Like, there was a line out the door.
It was nuts.
It's never, nobody buys physical media really anymore, and it's like that was a day where they were like, oh, people came, like it was nuts.
And they were not ready for us.
No, they absolutely were not. And I also choked on iced coffee in the parking lot, and that sort of like made me a little stressed out more than I thought it would.
It was a stressful morning.
Yeah, it was tough. It had a nice breakfast burrito though.
Oh, just the best.
Great breakfast burrito. We'll tell you off air where it was from. Yeah, I don't want because that place has a line too, and I'm not trying to blow it up.
It's true. Big line.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else to say about? I mean, probably, but like
a million things.
I know. I feel like we just like scratched the surface, and yet I don't know. There's like,
but like you couldn't. There's not a way to talk about the totality of this game.
Yes.
Even I think if you've seen every inch of the map, because like there's like I don't know, just like what we're talking about just a second ago. Your experience was different. Your experience was different. My experience was different. Nobody played the same game. Yeah. We all played a different video game.
It's so crazy.
And that's like, I don't know. That's wild to think about. And it like feels like weird to be like, I'm really glad this company did like a good job.
No, it's
but
true.
But
though.
they did a really good job.
It's so weird being like a Nintendo fan, right? Because like in a lot of ways, you're just like, yep, this is an enormous company, and like I root for its success.
Yeah.
But like every now and then,
they make me buy stuff, and then sometimes they don't make me buy stuff, and they won't give me stuff I want to buy.
Right, and sometimes they make me buy something 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And like. Yeah, it treats us bad a lot of the time, but every now and then they'll put out a game like this where you're just like, oh, I don't like. Yeah. Someone touched the face of God and then transferred it into my Switch.
Yeah, please, sir, can I have another?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I think like how Nintendo develops video games. Like, I would love to like have like an in-depth understanding of the process that they go through, but I think part of the reason why they don't talk about it is because it is their like secret sauce. Is just like
you don't really hear about like the development cycles of these games like when they come out. You just hear that like they like were they QA'd it for a year or whatever, but like that's kind of, or that he hired a rock climber or something. That's like kind of like the only stuff you hear about it. You don't hear like, oh, we had a really hard time with Ascend or whatever, or like in like the Mario in is it 3D World or something, where the cherry power was a glitch that they were like, oh, let's put that in the game because it's good. Like you know what I mean? Like
I love that cherry power so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that cherry power, but specifically why? I love cherries. I love cherries. I think they're great. So every time I have one, it feels like I'm like, oh, man, I had a little
There
treat.
could be two of me.
Yeah. I wish. I do. I mean, I have a twin.
You'd get a lot. Oh.
It's true. So, like, I don't need the cherry. I just like them. But when I was a baby, I did eat a cherry, and it did happen.
Oh, that's how it happened? Okay,
Yeah.
great. What happens if we feed you a cherry now? We should not find out.
At this time of night? I'm playing my
Like a
gremlin rules
gremlin.
now, too. I'm also part Mogwai.
Did either of you watch the Mogwai show, The Secrets of the Mogwai?
No.
There's
Did,
this-
did it come out?
Yeah, it's on Max. So
Of course
it's
it
up
came
there.
out, and I didn't hear anything about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, like, I also didn't. Outside of like when it launched, there was like one little pop and then like nothing. But there's a scene in the second episode where the villain eats like a rock that has someone's soul in it, and it's like the Zelda and Ganondorf scenes of them eating the dragon rock, except it's so big that he has to like unhinge his jaw, and it's like not funny.
Ugh. It's like gross.
It's like distressing, and he's like got his teeth on
And
either
it's
side
an
of it.
animated show.
Yeah.
I do want there to be like a Gremlins comeback, and this is not what we're here to talk about, but like I think they're so
Yes.
funny and good
I
that like
agree.
it shouldn't have been this long for there to be another Gremlins thing.
We should always have Gremlin stuff.
Every couple of years, let's just check
Yeah.
in and see what's going on. It doesn't have to be good. I just
I just want to see him
I just wanna
ruin
see what's
something
funny.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always have to be Christmas.
No, but it could be.
It's fine if it is. Put them on the North Pole.
Mark, how do you feel about the Gremlins?
I love the Gremlins a lot, but I also haven't seen the Max TV show.
I didn't finish it.
I don't know that I need like more Mogwai lore. I think I
Mhm.
just want to see.
I have the rules. I
Yeah,
get the rules. I
right.
kind of want to see him being bad.
Exactly. And let's get Joe Dante back directing a Gremlins movie.
Yes!
That guy
What's the
doesn't
last
work
thing
enough.
he did? We don't have to talk about it, I guess. We don't have to. Like, it's been a while since we got a Joe Dante flick, right?
Wasn't there like a movie called like Joe Dante like
Hole?
something like that? I'm gonna look it up.
Holes?
I mean,
No.
Are you talking about holes?
no, that was somebody else. But not an answer. No, that was somebody
No,
else.
no. I know who that was. That was somebody else.
Hole.
Joe Dante. Let's figure it out.
Yeah. The Hole.
The hole.
But then he also had a movie called Burying the X in 2014. I don't know what that is.
Look, Dante. I like Gremlins. Let's get Gremlins back on the board. What do
Yeah.
you say? After the strike,
Of course.
after both.
Oh, we probably shouldn't even be talking about
Probably
it.
shouldn't even be talking about it.
Well, I love this game, and I'm glad that we got to like just unload about it.
And here's the thing. I'm sure we could go on and on.
Yeah. We're still friends, right?
We didn't even talk about Addison.
He's supporting the president. You just got to help him hold up those
Kinda
signs.
weird.
Those anytime I did run into him,
Yeah.
I did them.
You
I
did every
liked-
time?
I did the
I liked
first like
Addison a
maybe
lot.
like 5 or 6, and it was like, you know what? This is
The same thing
this
every
is
time.
too. It's the same thing every
Yeah.
time, and it's also like I don't know anybody in my life that I like that like loves the president.
Not your president.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
not my president. Yeah. Everybody's really mad at mine. But you don't know who I'm talking about. But no, but like
'Cause
you know
it's
what I
true
mean?
of all the presidents.
Yeah, all of them. Like, but like I feel like if you like love the president, you're like kind of like weird.
Yeah, there's like something severely wrong
Like,
with
because at
you.
least nobody that like is like fine with the president
Yeah.
has a T-shirt with his face on it. You know what I mean? And like, this guy's like, this guy would be wearing like whatever the red hat equivalent is.
It's true.
Like in Hyrule,
Yes.
he's a sicko.
Make the signs stable again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you meet the guy, and he kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He like isn't talking to his daughter. She's about to
Uh-huh.
leave forever, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of sucks, but also I do like how much politics is in the game because like there's like you have to like meddle with a mayoral.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's right. That's right.
That's such a funny side quest.
It's so and like it takes kind of a long time. You're like running around this
It's
town
not
for like
just 2 beats. It's
No.
like several beats.
Yes. It takes place over the course of many nights.
Yeah, you have to get in a secret like shed. Yeah. Yeah.
I love the hat that you get for completing
Very
that
silly.
quest.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's a funny hat to walk around and be like, but I'm like, okay, I'm actually gonna try to be serious. I'm gonna put this away.
I actually just got the Lionel mask from that guy who eats the bubble gems.
Yep.
And I had forgotten, Link does this in Breath of the Wild too, but when you wear the mask, he does the Lionel stance, so his like shoulders are a little bit broader. It's just very funny. He's like pretending.
It's really funny.
It's not just wearing it; he's pretending to be the Lionel.
Do you think he's doing it because it makes him feel good?
I think so. I think he's like, this is fun. All right, we should stop this. Let's close this out. Matt Apodaca, thank you so much for joining us,
thank
man.
you so much. This was so much fun.
I'll come back anytime because I could do this for the rest of the night. I think I was having such a good time.
Coming back for part 2 next week.
Yeah.
No, Matt, is there anything that you would like to plug?
Yeah. I host a video game podcast with Nick Weiger and Heather Ann Campbell called Get Played, and we talk about all kinds of stuff. Sometimes it used to be like we talk about a new game every week, and that was bad, and then we had a bad time doing that because it was hard. Because playing a bad game is hard. And then we kind of switched to sort of like just broader like video game topics, and we talked about Tears of the Kingdom. We just did a Final Fantasy 16 episode. I don't know what we're doing in August. I think it might be Dave the Diver, which is really
for your We Play You Play.
Yeah, but we haven't locked that in yet. But I think it's looking like that's probably what it's going to be. But then I also have this other show that I produced coming out with one of my great pals, Jacob Wysocki, called Expo Expose, and it's on our it's on Earwolf Presents, which is like a feed where Earwolf like puts out sort of short run limited series shows. And I went with Jacob to 4 different expos in Southern California, and we just interviewed people there, just like figure out what the vibe was. And it was like a very strange, very fun, like it's very different than anything I've ever made before, and it's like more sincere than anything I've ever made, and I loved making it, and it was very hard and very like I learned a lot of stuff like within my job wise, like editing wise. I learned how to like do a bunch of stuff that I had never tried to do before, and Jacob was such a good host for this, and such a good like has like such a calming like energy, so a lot of people were just like down to talk to him and like give him long like specific answers and stuff. And it's coming out. It drops on the first one comes out on August 11th, and they'll be coming out for 4 weeks, after that. And so check those out because I worked really hard on them. Jacob worked really hard on them, and I think they're good.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah,
that sounds really
And the name
great.
of the show is Expo
Expose. We went to a reptile expo. We went to an anime expo. We went to a boat one, and we went to a tattoo expo, and that was, as you can imagine, that was the most wild one. That was that one was crazy. So, but they're all really fun, and the people were, interesting. But it was a good time.
So check those out. I've really been enjoying Get Played.
Thank you.
The format change. Sounds like just a relief to.
Yeah, I'm glad you see it that way, and not that we were being babies and you're mad at us.
Babies because you don't want to play bad games.
Yeah, there were a lot of listeners that wrote to us were like, the new show sucks.
No, the new
I don't
show's
like
great.
it.
The new show's great.
But it's okay. But it was like it's always that vocal minority sort of thing, where you're sort of like, I'm going to focus on this and let it ruin my life.
Well, expect to hear from our fans' vocal minority because they're gonna burn you down for something. I don't know. No, we've got nice fans. Thank you so much, Matt. And thank you to Connor McCabe and Patrice Millette, our 16-bit patrons. We appreciate you very much. Join our Discord, email us. We'll send you an invitation. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. From my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Eller saying thank you for listening.
So what was that when you guys would stop?